10:15, we'll call court back to order. And our next item is item number 2. This is consideration and approval for the ratification for Brad Thomason, our maintenance supervisor, for the purchase of an A.O. Smith 119-gallon storage commercial natural gas water heater, model BTH 500 from ecomfort.com in the amount of $16,900 for Willoughby Juvenile Detention Center. Reason we had this ratification was they needed payment up front. Usually we get something and then pay for it, and they need payment up front to get this water heater. So that was the purpose. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Timmons, second by Mr. Hatfield. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 5-0. We're going to move on to our supplemental agenda right quick. We'll come back to our jail, our executive session. We'll move to the supplemental agenda. This is consideration and action to approve an agreement between Sedaptic Inc. and Harrison County, Texas, to design, build, and install a control system for the Harrison County Jail and the Annex facility in the amount of $577,440.36 as presented by Patrick Scott, President of Sedaptic. Mr. Scott.
Good morning. Appreciate y'all letting me come here today. So a few years ago, what I was doing is I was contacting, said we're looking at upgrading both facilities, the downtown jail and the annex. And so what I did is I walked through and looked at it and basically did an assessment evaluation. And right now, because the correctional facility is unique in that it's probably the only facility or the only part of this county that's left on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's been on for a countless amount of hours because inmates are always going to be there. That building's never going to turn off. And so that ages the equipment faster. I believe a correctional facility ages about at least 10 times faster than any other facility in this county just because it doesn't turn off. Also, you have the inmates that are part of it that are actually going to help deteriorate because my saying is inmates are always going to inmate. So that actually increases or actually subsidizes the factor of that in which needs to be replaced. Going over and looking at that, the equipment that is there while it is operational right now, that company has gone out of business and that those parts are not manufactured anymore. Working with the county, what I look to do is to go through and do a full replacement of all the security controls at both facilities, put in our equipment that was designed for correctional facilities to enhance that security for those two facilities. Give you guys a free lifetime warranty, free spares. That way that it is designed for the facility for not only in 2024, but for the next 10 to 15 to 20 years. You can always grow and adapt the way that this facility in these counties is going to be moving towards. And looking at it, what we did is we walked through and did counts of the main facility as well as the annex and got the number of doors, number of intercoms, number of the cameras, things like that we would be controlling, put them together, design the system for that and one that we would like to implement for this facility or for the facilities.
So I guess we're on the control rooms this morning, so that's the reason for our visit, but I'll give you a little rundown. So in 1993, we opened the main jail. This jail has been in continuous operation now for 31 years. We have a manual control board in there, which means it's push button. Everything's push button. Behind the scenes, though, those push buttons are connected to something called programmable logic controllers, which is a little electronic device that tells, the door to open and whether it's locked or closed. It's a normal open, normal closed. Those PLCs are outdated and no longer manufactured. So what we're getting part-wise is new old stock. So basically it's what's left in a warehouse. When that's gone, it's gone. Okay. Main jail control basically is just door controls and camera controls. It needs to be updated. At some point, when one of those controllers are no longer available, we're gonna have a catastrophic failure. And by that, I mean, nothing's gonna work. That's one consideration. 31 years. Think about that. 31 years, that's a long time for anything mechanical that you press buttons on 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. That's a long time. Now let's get to the annex jail. Been in continuous operation since 2011. When we had that jail built, it came with the latest, greatest technology. It's got touchscreens. So door controls, touchscreen, electronic. Electrical, water, everything out there at that building is all electronic. Those electronics are run by relays, PLCs, and computers. Those computers have run non-stop for 13 years without a failure. Computers just don't run 13 years straight without a failure, but they have. But that's where we're at. We're on life support. I mean, something could happen there at any time that would be catastrophic.
This proposal would replace all those, you mentioned several systems, not just doors, but this would replace all of those systems?
Yes, door sensors have to be replaced. At the annex, the program that actually runs that, it's outdated. They don't even make that program anymore. They've got a newer program out for that. Patrick, and that's where he comes in. He's going to update all this and bring us up to something that's viable for the years to come. What we have now is not going to make it.
And you mentioned that this comes with a lifetime warranty. I mean, that's
Yes.
That's
Yes.
pretty significant.
How long has Adaptive been in business?
Patrick, how long have y'all been in business?
Since '89.
89. They've got a lot of surrounding counties too. Panola County's on their system, and I think some others.
Yes,
It's
sir.
close to us.
Franklin, Gray County.
How many counties do you serve?
I should know this. There's over 100 in the state of Texas, or the United States wise. We're in 14 states, as well as growing. So we just secured 2 more contracts for new states this year, or this past month actually. So client base wise, we're over probably 100 to 150 client base, United States wide.
Okay.
The company we have now is based out of San Antonio. So the distance-wise, when we have any issue, we have to wait. It may be days before they get to us. Patrick, they're a lot closer. They're already on the TIPS program, I believe. That's true and correct. So that would benefit us, and being that they have surrounding counties that also have this, so they're in the area.
That was one question I had on the agenda. It said 577,440. But is that the TIPS price? Because it seems like for some reason I saw another price that was the TIPS price.
Correct. So the what would be considered the MSRP would be the 641, but the 577 would be the TIPS
Is the
price.
TIPS, okay,
Yes, sir.
okay.
Yes, sir. It is.
What's the delivery time on this system if we, once you get to go ahead?
So it does take an awful lot of planning and preparation for it. What we want to do is minimize the amount of downtime. This project right here for both facilities, we think is going to be about the 22-day mark.
How much
22 days
to install?
to do the installation, but it does take about 6 months of the heavy lifting, the pre-planning process in order to go ahead and do that. So that is when we secure down payment, is when we would go ahead and get it scheduled for 6 months out.
So I guess what I'm getting at, I mean, the longer you prolong it, you just add the 6 months and the 22 days. to whatever
Absolutely.
day that-
Absolutely. We have to come on a first come, first base service on that one. What we're wanting to do is, this project is one that we've known about for a while, so we're trying our best to expedite it as much as possible, but at the same time, because of the nature of that facility and the clientele that's there, I cannot rush anything. It has to be done. All of our T's have to be crossed, I's have to be dotted. It is something that whenever we stand behind our product, it has to be for a lifetime, and that just means that we have to make sure every single thing going into it. There cannot be any skeleton in the closet. We have to uncover everything because y'all can't remove the inmates when we're doing this. We have to expedite that installation process because business as usual has to happen. The inmates have to still stay there, so we have to be as fast as possible for that.
What percent do you collect up front to start the process?
We would like to see a 20% down payment, 20% down payment, and then another way we're talking about, it usually is the completion, the remainder 80% after completion. However, if we'd like to, what we can do is we can prolong that and we can do a payment plan, whatever that would be best for the county. That can be up to about 4 years for that. If it takes anything from a year or under, there'd be no interest. Anything after or over a year, then there would have to be an interest. It'd be,
What I was gonna ask you, what
yes, sir. And payments can be either monthly or yearly, whatever would be best for the county.
Captain Hayne, I guess maybe we want to talk about the funding of this. So we'd be on the hook for about $114,000 if we'd agreed to this today for the down payment. And then I know you've been working through some grant funding for other projects that may help us cover some of this. You want to talk about that?
I believe that we have some funds coming back from this grant that should cover all of that down payment.
Just only cover the down payment.
Well, and then some.
How much is then?
What do we got, Ms. Becky? There was, this, what's coming back was above and beyond what the county's portion was.
So this, tell us about this grant, and it's basically reimbursing us for budgeted expenses we had, is that right?
On the approved items that they had, yes.
And was this the grant you were talking about earlier, Ms. Haynes?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
So basically, we have about 400 and we have $1 million that's pending reimbursement. Of the $1 million, 578,000 of that was budgeted. If we get that, we'll have $578,000 that would go down to fund balance that
Okay.
would cover this.
so that would cover the
have
whole.
$560 left.
And how comfortable are you, Ms. Haynes, that I mean, I know you don't have a crystal ball, but you expect us to get this. I mean, it was pretty secure that, hey, we entered into an agreement for this grant.
We have a signed contract, with the questions that we were getting last week and us meeting all of their additional requirements and information that we provided. I'm confident we'll get the money.
Okay,
Am I 100% sure? No. But I do think that they're trying to work with us to ensure
Okay.
that we will get everything but the $5,300.
so this is not a budgeted item for us, and so we'd have to come up with this 14,000.
It's 115,488.07.
And do we have funds available to meet that down payment?
We could, I'm not aware in the permanent improvement fund, we have surplus in that at the
Okay.
moment. I'm not aware of Brad taking on any major projects.
I talked to him about it yesterday, and he didn't mention any that he had.
He's not gonna do the elevator, but that's like 40.
Well, he would still have money left over even
He
after
would still have
40,000.
money even doing the 40,000 on the elevator,
Okay.
yeah. He hadn't spent that much out of permanent
Right. We
improvements,
talked
so,
about that, Brad.
yeah. So in permanent improvements, we do have this covered.
Okay, very good. You guys have any other questions? You guys have any other comments?
Anything you want to add, Patrick?
I just, again, appreciate the opportunity. If awarded this, we'd be honored to help y'all out in securing the two facilities for the foreseeable future.
Super. Sounds like we'll be able to cover your down payment and within the next several months. Of course, it's gonna take you 6 months to prepare and then do
Yes,
this, so I think we'd be very much on time for getting our grant reimbursed and be
Yes, sir.
ready to pay you at the end of it, so I feel comfortable about that. If nothing else, is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second. A motion by Commissioner Ebar, second by Commissioner Timmons, and this is on the action to approve the agreement between Sedaptic Inc. and Harrison County to design, build, and install a control system for our main jail and the annex for the amount of $577,440.36. We have a motion and the second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 5-0. Thank y'all.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank y'all very much.
You need, this,
We start our 6
Sign.
months today?
Sir?
We start our 6 months today?
Yes, sir, we'll get it.
I'm gonna mark the calendar.
I got something I want to say. I want to spend a minute when I have all four of you folks with the jail here. Y'all do an outstanding job. I absolutely wish we had more departments that was run as efficiently as y'all do. We're proud of y'all. We're glad to help you out. Thank y'all for what you do.
Thank you, Commissioner.
It's great leadership.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
thank you, guys. All right, that brings us to our last item. This will be executive session pursuant to Government Code Section 551.071, consultation with our attorney regarding matters related to Harrison County. So we will dismiss the rest of you guys. Thank y'all for coming.